Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
And BlueDragonFive.
And welcome to the 5th installment of the Just Giggle It Grab Bag. That's right, folks. It's the show where we talk through some of the finest pieces of sketch comedy from the brilliant minds behind Harley Quinn and the Joker versus the real world. Tonight, we're talking about Walter Jr.'s favorite sketch, Serial Mom. By the way, folks, we are contractually obligated to have the one Walter Jr. reference. There will be no more Walter Jr. references in this podcast.
At least we'll try our hardest.
Yeah, we'll try our hardest. And also, Dragon's... Dragon, would you say this is your favorite parody? Your favorite
Yes,
parody?
this is absolutely my favorite parody of Just Giggle that's ever done.
Which is Making a Murderer, specifically Dragon?
Specifically, Children's Story Hour with Ken Kratz.
Oh boy! All right.
Can't wait to get to it. It's one of them. It's one I've been waiting to show Tiki folks, and I'm very excited. We'll get there.
So grab bag number 5, folks. Grab bag number 5. I'm really happy with how these grab bags have gone out. Dragon, just some, just some clarification from Mr. Joshua Thomas himself. He clarified a couple things for us on our last podcast. Alex Poncio's actual sister was I'm sorry, I forget her first name.
Lizzie Poncio.
Yes, Lizzie Poncio. Yes.
Liz Poncio, more professional.
Alex Poncio's actual sister. So, that's cool. Very true to life casting, real life siblings for the sibling role.
I knew it.
And then also, Dragon, importantly, great minds think alike because they have the can opener bit ready to go. They just didn't have time to film it. All right, Dragon. So let's jump into one of my favorite original sketches from these guys, and one that's listed prominently in their dark sketches for good reason. Let's get to Serial Mom.
So Serial Mom is directed by Mal Smith and written by 2 writers. Of course, the great Alex Poncio, big fan of his. And a newcomer who, again, I swear to God, folks, completely coincidental, a man who has a hand in both sketches this evening. So both our sketch and parody this evening, Jason Ramlow, if I'm saying that right. He wears a lot of hats in the next one. I think we have like a very similar Walking Dead situation, be my guess for the next one. But anyway, so Jason Ramlow, he wrote this with Poncio, and I think they did an excellent job with. And this one I also kind of recommended because Tiki had seen it before, and I watched it for the first time for this because every time I went through the videos of Just Giggle It, I saw Serial Mom. It always stuck out to me. Oh my God, it sounds so interesting. Serial Mom. It sounds so funny. I gotta know what the Serial Mom bit's about. I just spent like something really it was like really funny and maybe like a commercial, and we'll see where that goes.
Okay, yeah. So we will start indeed with Serial Mom.
Essentially, as it's described in the video, it's kind of a Stepford Mom Cheerio commercial.
And not Cheerios. Cheerios.
I love that.
Cheery. Like, hey, yeah, we're happy and cheery. And then O's.
Basically, folks, the best way to describe this, and again, I love the spelling on Cheerios. Is I love that it's pleasantries as cereal, and I get a sense of this is the breakfast that Vera Farmiga would eat, because I mean it's so positive, it's so uplifting. Again, this is like Vera Farmiga's cereal of choice. At the very least, it's Norma Bates' cereal of choice. My God! So we have our happy-go-lucky mom, played by Jamie Cox. Our mom on the very left there. She's serving her happy children, Julian Silver, and of course the wonderfully talented Piper Henson. Julian, he was in the last episode we did. He was the casting. He was one of the casting directors.
Oh, right, yeah.
They're all sitting down at some breakfast, and they're like big giddy kids.
So powerful.
That guy. So they're big giddy kids in pajamas, treating breakfast like Christmas. Again, you can definitely tell it's by a certain Albuquerque verse resident who had a hand in.
Say his name, Dragon. We can only say it once, or else we're gonna get sued.
I won't say his name. I'll just intimate exactly who he is. Looks a lot like RJ Mitty. That's all I'll say. Anyway. So again, we have some really happy music. I think the musical track's actually called Happy, so it's very, very befitting. They're all smiles, like "Good morning." It's like, oh my
Good
goodness.
morning, kids. What would you want for breakfast?
Cheerios.
Cheerios.
So this is a very. I love how faithful they are in the directing here. Mal Smith. Mal Smith. Remember, Mal Smith did the uh, did uh, did the One Night Stand, which is so well directed. So this is
Oh
another
yeah.
example of Mal Smith just at the top of their game right there.
Well, in a way, One Night Stand and this both kind of devolve into a dark horror movie by the end of it.
Exactly. So let's see. So again, it's shot so faithfully, like a commercial, like a very kind of product based commercial where we're showcasing the product a lot. We're showing like the happy kids. Again, it starts off very very bare bones. It's commercials like a harmless.
But don't forget about the cheery robber.
Yeah, so I love we build him up. By the way. So again, it's initially first pass. Again, this is what I was kind of thinking when I was going through the video. I knew there was going to be something. There's going to be like a twist on it somewhere, but I just kind of figured, okay, harmless sketch ends right there, right? Just like okay, happy, kind of over the top, cheesy. It's kind of like a Saturday Night Live commercial almost. Wrong. Years later. So here we kind of take the kind of the meta Just Giggle, the JGI approach, if you will, to the commercial mentality in the real world of okay, we're going to get this commercial right, we're going to tell it right, and we're going to lull people into a false sense of security and kind of cynicism, like oh boy, I've seen this commercial 100 times, it's kind of silly. Oh look at them, they're not children. Oh, they're full-grown actors. Ah ha ha. That's sure funny, isn't it? But no. Young Tommy and Sarah, their lives went a different way than that cereal.
Right.
So
incredible how much cheer just destroyed a family.
Tiki cheer broke that family. Anyway, so the high school years for young Thomas, who again fully grown Thomas, but again at the same time Thomas, he's all bummed out. He's because he's bombed the test.
Studied, but he only got 50% on a test.
Yeah. And this is what killed me.
You like something to eat.
Okay, now this is what kills me on this take. This is what I love so much about this sketch. I love how much we commit to the. Here's the thing: Just Giggle is known for committing to the bid and kind of basically selling you on the universe, or selling you on the gag or the premise. And in this case, I love how we did that, but with one singular character, where the mom is exactly like she's still in that commercial vibe we got from the opening, where she appears all happy and with the same happy music.
Yes.
Well, whenever she appears, she has the music. Whenever she starts speaking, she has the music. You hungry? And I love this. In the fridge, she has a pre-prepared bowl of Cheerios. Pre-prepared, like the milk is poured and everything. It's just again, so commercial. It's like again, we're living in the commercial with her. Again, it's so anyway, we have all these great music bits, and then we have these great cuts. So again, as the music's playing, then we just kind of cut when the unflattering reality rears its head from Tommy here, from young Thomas.
I'm not hungry, Mom. A kid on the bus told me to kill myself.
Yeah. I wonder
not getting his 7 whole grains.
This might just be me, but I inferred that kid was just really interested in his grades for some random reason. Like, hey, you got 50%. You failed in life.
Right.
I'm like that. I'm just saying it was always kind of a stretch. I mean, I guess it's for like it's just like generally he's being bullied or something. I was like, kind of wondering, is there a correlation between the bad grades? I mean, this guy's really like he's kind of like, this is like a Dead Poet Society kind of style of like, judging others by their grades type mentality,
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, let's see.
So after she interrupts him, like he's not getting his 7 whole grains. Back to Thomas. He's like, okay, Mom, you really want to have a conversation about Cheerios? Let's have a conversation about Cheerios. I haven't had a bowel movement in over a week. Well, Cheerios are filled with fiber.
So again, it's kind of this horrifying in the best of ways. It's like a horrifying Twilight Zone effect, where it's like the idea of like if you grew up in a very commercial house where you're the patriarch of the family is in a perpetual commercial where she keeps serving cereal, and that's like the only food. It's like you're living in a commercial that never ends. Like imagine this like a sci-fi concept of if every time you watch the commercial, basically those people had to set up for every screening, like it was a play, like it was a performance, and they live out their lives in that commercial.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what we're working with here. And again, tying into that robot chicken, like here's a sketch idea. I don't know, it's just a little it's not occurred to me. But yeah, so he's not getting his 7 whole grains. She's plugging the fiber in the cholesterol facts. Again, like, it feels very much like the Truman Show, which I know you haven't seen, Tiki.
No, I know enough about Truman. Don't out me for not having seen the Truman Show, please. These are people that I want to respect me on some level.
Anyway, well, I'll recall then. I love this bit in the Truman Show where Truman's wife, basically, she has to sell the product to camera, and that's how they fund the show, fund the productions. That they keep selling things to all the hidden cameras in Truman's world, where basically she's like in like a heat. Honestly, this whole sketch feels very Truman Show. Maybe we can get confirmation on it, because I mean, I'm not sure you get this without Truman Show, because you have like this happy-go-lucky participant in the world who has to. While a serious conversation's going on, Truman again, like when he starts to catch on to the world, he's like asking, what are you talking about? Why do you keep plugging that? And again, like she's basically plugging it to the camera because she has no idea what to do, but she has to. She's contractually obligated to plug all the products. Like, hey, the pruning shears. Hey, the coffee. You know, like a big smile on her face and like almost like Vanna White. Like, hey, coffee.
Right.
Anyway, so it feels very Truman Show inspired. So I loved it.
So cut back to dramatic reality. It just gets darker and darker, Dragon.
It does, and it's great.
Like, Dad and Sarah left. All right, Mom, and you're on autopilot. I miss my mom. I need my mom.
Even darker than that, Tiki, because Dad left 3 months ago. Which, and again, that's where we get this serial autopilot parenting from Mom here. And Sarah left to find Dad.
Oh, right,
because the kids can't take it anymore. For 3 months, it's been a serial autopilot. So
because of this, okay. Because here's a heart-healthy fact: 7 out of 10 doctors agree. And then this is when the kid just starts. All right, you know what, Mom? All we have in the fridge is milk and Cheerios. I need a balanced diet.
So I really want to highlight the directing this. This is my favorite bit of one of my 2 favorite bits of direction in this whole thing. I love the framing on this shot where like it's perfectly staged, Tiki, where he's sitting at the table and he's right next to the fridge so he can make his point dramatically. It's like great blocking. Like he literally just when he's pointing out the milk and that we've seen the cover, we've seen the where the boxes of cereal are. And he's just like he's opening the fridge dramatically. It's all milk, and we're seeing milk on the door, and then again pointing to the cabinets. I mean, it's great demonstrative framing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's really funny. So yes, he's making his point. They're very very defiant.
I'm sorry, Dragon. I'm looking on the description for the video right now. I'm pretty sure the good folks at Just Giggle It might be able to confirm that Truman Show had some relevance to the sketch, but I'm pretty sure what they were aiming at is Stepford Wives, because Stepford Wives is all over the description.
Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah. I don't know. We were on the money with that Aladdin thing, though, so I don't know. But yeah, I'll take you.
That's true. I was on the money with the Aladdin thing.
Well, you know what? I'll take Stepford Wives, sure.
Uh-huh.
Let's see. So again, I just love there is kind of like a subtle, profound point here in subtext to all this, where it's kind of the idea of parents.
Dragon, I'm just going to be blunt here. I am not really on speaking terms with my mother at the moment, and so the scene where the kid is just like, I need my mom. Dragon, that hits hard with me.
It is good.
Like, drag down the comedy here, but I'm just saying, like, this is a dark sketch.
But again, it has those kind of funny kind of inflections where I love that we have this great anticipatory pause where again, like he makes the plea to his mother, I need my mom back, and you have this pause, and again, the acting is flawless. Here, we're Jimmy A. Cox. By the way, I just want to apologize to her if she's listening. If I'm butchering your name, I'm terribly sorry. I'm just going phonetically on this here. It might just be Jamie. I don't know what. No, it
If
could
I
be
were to
Jamie.
guess, I'd just say it's Jamie.
It is probably Jamie. I just feel very foolish here. Anyway, so sorry if I am doing all Miss Cox.
It's a very cool way to spell Jamie, though.
That's a thing. It is kind of cool, though. I mean, Ralph Garman would hate it, but because Ralph Garman's a name Nazi. He really is. I mean, because he does the Nazi. He does like the fun Nazi character on How the Bad Ones. I think I can say that without offending the majority of people. But again, of course, Just Giggle, they have a lovely Nazi parody with Space Jam.
Dragon.
Come on, Space Jam. That was an aspiring basketball Nazi picture, Tiki.
All right.
Anyway, getting back to my point. Yeah, sorry, my point is, I mean, I love that pause, and I love she's giving like a great moment where basically building the anticipation of, okay, is she actually going to break it and kind of get like another, we're going to go another way with it, where no, she commits, where again, she's doing like, she's posing very motherly, she's putting the hand to the face, very Norma Bates kind of one-on-one posing. Mm-hmm. And again, just get that frame, got everything where again, she snaps back into it. Again, I think there's that profound point, there's a subtext of parents that when they get divorced or like when one of them leaves the other one, the parents who are in over their heads, even without the divorce element, parents sometimes are in over their heads and unsure of what to do. They'll kind of go into this default parent mode or like that default function of some kind. I think there might be a little bit of context there. I don't know. Mm-hmm. A little bit of subtext. And okay, as this point's being made, who enters the fray?
Great Alex Poncio, Dragon.
Poncio! Oh my God, Alex! And this is my second.
Hey, do you mind if I borrow some Cheerios?
I don't know what it is, but it's just it's so simple, and I feel it's so ridiculous, and I just like they know. I don't know if they just lucked into this or if they're so smart they can kind of break it down like this. They can break down comedy like this, where Poncio enters the frame. He's wearing all black for the following gag. And I love that he is wearing a blue robe. And I love that blue robe, it speaks to Neighbor in the Morning so well that you just see, again, he's very obviously wearing the costume for the next gag. But he has that blue robe on. And again, it's just like the minute you see it, I'm not thinking about a turns or anything. I'm saying, okay, there's a Neighbor right there. The blue robe and everything. It's classic Neighbor at breakfast, Neighbor in the Morning. It's so simple, and again, it leads to my favorite. Next to the blocking, my favorite shot in the whole thing, where we have where he removes. Basically, he says, "Hey, I want to steal and borrow some Cheerios," and then she we not only are we doing Stepford Wives, or again possibly Truman Show, what we're really doing. At the end of the day, we're doing Tricks Rabbit, and I love it. We're doing the serial cliches, and we're doing them in a hilarious way. All the serial cliches. Like all we needed, Tiki, was like kind of that old, the old Kellogg's Superman commercial. Where like, hey, Jimmy, Perry White, want some breakfast? Waking up in the next morning, hey, we're having some breakfast. Kent, there's news out there, but Chief, it's Kellogg's. Oh, why didn't you say so? Anyway, that's the only serial reference we're missing here, but regardless, just someone wandering in the scene kind of like that. And like a Tricks Rabbit gag, it was just she unmasks him, and by unmasking him, she just removes the robe. And I love this cut. It's a simple, they cut away and just they do him up for the next shot. But I love that it's seamlessly, it's edited so well. Again, Joshua Thomas doing some great editing, I'm sure. He removes the robe, and boom, it's Alex Poncio with a painted on almost raccoon-like domino mask. He's the Cheerio. He's the naughty Cheerios, Robert.
Mom, who are you talking to?
And again, that's where we get the horrifying Bates Motel-esque quality of it all. They're worrying very, very Bates Motel-esque, I'll say that much. Where again, he's talking to no one there. Or she's talking to, she's talking to her imaginary serial bandit, very Hamburglar-inspired serial bandit. And again, she's treating him like the Tricks Rabbit or Swiper the Fox from Dora the Explorer. Like, rob or no robbing.
Okay, so basically what happens is, Poncio's just like, Oh, I will taste the delicious whole grain, cheery flavor of Cheerios. And then the mom just faces the camera like Dora the Explorer. She's like, I'm going to tell you what we're going to do, kids. We're going to say, rob or no robbing. Can you do that for me, kids?
So while this
Great.
is Well, while that's happening, I love the framing here. I love that it's kind of he's obscured in the back, and I love that her head is blocking the frame here. Again, I think I'm going to give Mal Smith a lot of credit here. I'm going to say the director basically obscured this and made him fuzzy to show that, yeah, again, she's stuck in her own reality here, while the actual reality is kind of fuzzy to her visually. So, like, he's in the back there, he's being obscured while he's hanging himself with shoelaces, which, I mean, I hear it, I don't know, they take your shoelaces when you're in that sort of thing. I've always wondered, I've always wondered, like, how the heck that works. But again, it's a logical thing that people account for, so I guess it happens.
Mm.
The point is, while he's hanging himself by his shoelaces, again, the kind of the foretold joke of the sketch with on the school bus, like, it says I should do with my shoelaces. He's hanging himself by his shoelaces, and again, also Poncio is he's perfect in his framing and his gesture. You just feel so like serial mascotty, and like, just. It's like they all shot. It's like it's literally like the swipers, swiper, no swipe. I'm like, oh, darn.
Oh, man.
Exactly. Like, oh, man, like that. And we see, of course, as she turns back, can you do that for me, kids? And of course, as she, great. And as she says that, we see her son's hanging legs in the background. So, and again, I think the dark joke of it all is at the end that we leave off on is, it's imaginary. She's addressing imaginary kids as her real one dies.
Exactly.
That's a taste of cereal right there, Tiki. That's dead children versus realities of dead children. Oh God, it's horrifying.
That's not just a taste of cereal. It's the taste of Cereal, the podcast that I hope that Just Giggle It parodies in the future, because I'd love that.
Well, technically, Tiki, the next one did appear on Cereal, I think.
I'm sorry, what?
The next our parody actually didn't our parody our parody technically I don't know if it originated on there. I know it was featured. I'm pretty sure it was featured. I think you told me it was featured on Cereal once. Podcast, not the delicious Cheerio flavored breakfast extravaganza. Anyway, so final thoughts on Cereal Mom, Tiki. Which, by the way, is the 24th sketch. We didn't mention the number at the top. It's the 24th sketch that Just Giggle did. Remember that number, folks.
I mean, I like it quite a bit. I think it's it's got kind of this dark, subversive quality to it, where it's so happy and light in some places, but then also, just very twisted and nihilistic in other places. It's it's a good combo between the two. It's got a really good balance going on, and the performances are great. I think the music kind of makes it. The editing is really good. Just overall, a very strong early sketch.
It's a fun satire on commercials. It's it's taking a joke and putting it in reality. So it's kind of a great kind of use of kind of splicing worlds together. And again, it has kind of that almost that psychodrama quality to it that kind of evolves as you kind of splice those worlds together. So it's so cool and kind of replacing and evolving the comedy within a sketch. Again, it kind of takes from like a very kind of like tongue-in-cheek humor to like a dark humor. So I've seen that gradual evolution in the humor. So again, Serial Mom, it's very well executed. It's funny. It's a great time. And again, I think again, as we're going to get into the next one, I think Jason Ramel. I'm not trying to undercut Poncio here. I'm just saying. Again, I felt kind of a different kind of vibe in the writing here that I think might be attributed to Jason Ramwell. So again, it's a working theory that I guess we'll explore further in our next dazzling Just Giggle It event.
Okay, so much like how I had to take the reins on The Quiet Place and the Walking Dead parodies, Dragon, this is you, buddy. This is all you.
Yes, I'm a big fan of Making a Murderer, the Netflix series that swept the nation in 2015.
And it's kind of mentally exhausting, and I haven't been able to watch all the way through it, but that's just me.
Did you ever even finish the first episode?
I finished the first 2 or 3 episodes.
Mentally exhausted. All right. Again, I got to episode 6, Tiki. You got to get to the 6th one. Okay, the point is, so as you can probably...
Something that I'm just not really digging.
All right, well, the point...
watched all the leftovers for me, so.
Good. So the point is, folks. So for years, I've been telling Tiki, "Oh my God, Making a Murder! It's so it's great. So, it's a wonderful kind of. It's basically taking your average kind of like 48 hours kind of crime show, but it's taking in kind of serialized kind of interwoven narrative that's really that was the thing that really struck me about it. It's kind of like, oh my God, it's serialized, it's going somewhere. The thing that always struck me with Making a Murder was the endings were my favorite part. I love that the endings had like a really had a fantastic hook that made you want to check out the next one. And everyone has an opinion about Making a Murder. Let's say that one. Anyone who's seen it has an opinion, like if it's like on the money or if it's basically whose side you're on. And I would always argue that the documentary, and again, I'm saying this to interpret what our guys are kind of interpreting in the writing here. So I think everyone usually has an opinion about Making a Murder. I've always been of the opinion that it's more so I think it presents things. I don't think it's necessarily biased. A lot of people make a case for being very biased to like the innocence of Stephen Avery and Brendan Dassey. I would say that I think there's enough evidence that you're not sure, even by the end of it, you're not sure, and you're going to probably change opinions a few times as you go through it. So I think there's enough on both sides. But regardless, the truth of the matter is, and I think what we show here, I'm kind of inferring with the Just Giggle It guys, what I hopefully agree with, that at the end of the day, what the big hook for me is that it's such a mishandled case. Making a Murderer features the most mishandled case you've ever seen, where again, you can't tell Avery's innocence because you can't weigh on Avery like one way or another because the case was so incompetently handled, and that's what they showcase. That, oh my God, because these guys couldn't. These like the stupidest investigators and prosecution you've ever seen. Like nothing goes right in this case, and it's like, yeah, that's why we're not getting the clear-cut answer. And it's just that's always been like the hook for me, along with the endings for Making a Murder. So this is so specifically Just Giggle has done 2 Making a Murder sketches. They've done 2 parodies of Making a Murder. They did Manitowoc Frame Shop, number 53, which definitely suggests to me that Just Giggle It. I know Joshua Thomas is in that, and he plays one of the characters. He plays a different character, not the character we're going to be focusing on here this evening. He plays a Deputy Coburn, I believe. Mm-hmm. And my point is that one definitely suggests that, again, it's all about framing, kind of the pun. It's a pun on framing. That suggests to me that they're either like it for the same reason I do, or they're just very on the side of, oh yeah, they not only did they mishandle the case, but yeah, Avery's very likely he's been framed, so it's pretty clear cut, it would seem. So this one's a little less. Again, it's not really weighing in on one side, just showing the realities, where the realities are, again, whatever side you take, at the end of the day, Ken Kratz is a creepy guy, and that's what this one's all about. Where this is Children's Story Hour with Ken Kratz. It's number 55. It's directed, written, and edited, and that's a surprise because usually Joshua Thomas, and all the ones we've done so far, he's done all the editing. Mm-hmm. First time he hasn't done the editing. It's all done by Jason Ramlow, again, our new guy from the first sketch we were talking about. And it is written by Ramlow and Joshua Thomas, which, again, I don't know if Thomas is a fan of this. It might be a Walking Dead situation, which we learned that, he's not really the Walking Dead fan, where the other writer and director was. I don't know if this, and this Sunday confirmed, maybe in the comments, if Ramlow is like the one carrying all the Making a Murderer stuff, or if, he and Thomas are like, if anyone's a fan of it, what their view is, if they want to disclose that, whatever. So I guess that's all the preamble I really got for this. I mean, Tiki, any questions you want to throw at me? Like anything you want me to establish here?
Okay, so basically, just what I'm getting from this sketch is it's kind of like I get the feeling that a lot of this guy's tics and mannerisms are on full display. I get the feeling that this guy likes to describe people as sweaty quite a bit.
Here's the cool thing. Okay, so that I think I showed Tiki. Tiki, did you watch that video I sent you about the sweaty thing?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I asked you before. I still want to make sure. Yeah, so that sweaty thing, it kind of, I from what I understand, it kind of turned into a meme, and that's an example of the meme right there, where he essentially Ken Kratz. You watch Making a Murder. It's been a while since I've watched it, but usually I binge the whole thing. I've binged it a couple times. I think probably like 3 or 4 times in total so far. I don't know. But Ken Kratz, he gave a press conference, and that's the video I showed you, Tiki. He gave a press conference basically telling everyone where they're at on the Avery case. And what he did famously, and on really thinking about it, I'm pretty sure this is where it all comes from. He mentioned Sweaty in that press conference, and Ken Kratz, he's always had, like, whether again he's on the level or not, which in my opinion, I think he's a guy who doesn't care about the what if of, like, what if the person. It's not a guy who cares about justice. It's a guy who cares about closing a case. That's always been my read on Ken Kratz, and the point is, Ken Kratz, he was selling Sweaty in that press conference because one of the pieces of evidence that the case had, that they really didn't focus on the documentary, but one of the pieces of evidence that they had, I think they were really trying to sell subtly in the press conference, was that a Sweaty handprint was found on the hood of the car, the hood of Teresa Halbach's car. So the idea is Ken Kratz is really trying to sell the Sweaty in that press conference to kind of build his case.
Okay.
And the thing is, though, because Ken Kratz, again, see, Ken Kratz now, his name has been dragged in the mud because he's the bad guy making a murder. And again, if there's a bias, it's definitely against Ken Kratz. If not, just Ken Kratz, he always comes off with these creepy mannerisms. And afterwards, he was involved in a sexting scandal where he was texting dirty stuff to a young girl.
Mm-hmm.
And the point is, because of that, his reputation's been in the toilets. His nickname is Kratz the Rat.
Oh boy.
The point is, that's the thing. Ken Kratz, again, whether or not this is a guy who really is like, it's a distrustful guy who does not care about justice or the truth. It's a guy who cares about closing a case, and so that's the gist of it. T. That's really, I think, all you really need to know about Kratz going into it. So. Okay, so let's start. So we're in Manitowoc, Wisconsin. We're in the elementary school library, and as folks, the reason this is if I didn't say this already, my favorite parody from Just Giggle. Because this is where, honestly, I think I fell in love with the comedy stylings of Piper Henson. I don't know why. This is where she really came up.
That Piper really stands out here.
Outside of Addison, this is my favorite. Oh. This is where Piper Henson struck me. Like, oh my gosh, she's great in everything. Look at this. So she's playing Miss Fox. Miss Fox is the elementary school teacher. I don't know what it is. I always have a soft spot for kind of a female protagonist who's an elementary school teacher. I don't know why, but you rarely see that. It's kind of cool to see that showcase. Last time I saw that was Once Upon a Time with Jennifer Goodwin. She did an excellent job with that. So Miss Fox, she's telling her class about their guest reader. Manitowoc.
Really excited she is.
Yeah, we do this kind of neat in-camera trick for the kids. What do you think about how we showcase the kids in this, Tiki?
I don't know. It's fine.
Yeah, I've always got
of it one way or another. I'm sorry.
That's fine. I'm just saying it's just kind of like silly how we show them young. Basically, we have to sell them as under 10. Where obviously none of these actors are under 10. Where they're all wearing beanies or have freckles put on them. Like they're almost all of them are wearing beanies on their head, like wearing hats. And like they look as childish as they possibly can. And Poncio as a child looks hysterical. Anyway, let's see. So so again, they welcome DA Ken Kratz, and instantly, and this thing I called him really kind of an under the microscope rewatch. It really blew me away. I love that you can see in the body language again. Henson's kind of really, she's on fire with this. You can see the implied discomfort, like Kratz tries to put his hand on her back, and she goes away from it in the beginning. There, it's like, oh my god, you can see she's already like uncomfortable with this guy. So like a warm Wisconsin welcome to DA Ken Kratz. By the way, Brianna Oppenheimer's in this, or the first Harley Quinn that we had in Harley Quinn the Joker. She's one of the blonde girl in the group.
Nice.
Okay. All right. So right off the bat, Ken Kratz, he says something again. We have some deep cut lines from Making a Murder, but I love that just the gist of the comedy. You still get a lot of this from here. So basically saying anyone under 15, leave the room. Of course, he's reading the 10-year-olds. So.
Okay, but I warn you, the tale I have to tell today is a graphic, violent, bloody tale about injustice from an honorable ship captain.
God, so let's talk about Joshua Thomas real quick. Joshua Thomas, he's MVP, and as much as I love Piper Henson,
he's like the man of 1,000 faces at this point. Anytime he slips in, you really he kind of just really vanishes into the character.
Honestly, T, I can't recall if how early in Making a Murder Ken Kratz appears, but from what you remember and from that video I showed you, it's pretty on the money, right?
Yeah, from the video you showed me. I mean, I didn't really look into making a murderer itself, but from the video you showed me, yeah.
I was saying from the videos, like the sort of the few episodes you did see from way back when. Like, I don't know if it's ringing any bells. I can't remember how early he was
No,
introduced.
it's really not from the few episodes I saw, no.
Yeah, sure, it's
But
fine.
that video that me helped.
Exactly. But honestly, aside from the weight, he looks. I think he's dead on the money. He's got the they got the gray in his hair and the mustache, and again, he has the voice dance. Joshua Downs. He's basically that's the thing that really I think carried the performance is what really accentuates a lot because he captures all the mannerisms, the voice, the creepy vibe about Kratz all the way through. And a guy living with kind of a post making a murder world, like a post making a murder landscape. It's really funny. Again, this poor elementary school teacher has to roll with this guy. He just like has to roll. Basically, has to turn. It's like, yeah, kids, right? You know that mentality. So
get into the Peter Pan story. It
yes.
also a confession from Wendy took place at approximately 3:30 p.m. to 11 p.m. There was a sweaty, violent transvestite named Peter Pan who walked through the hallway dripping with sweat, super sweaty.
So by the way, so Wendy Darling, and the idea is every story that he's telling, he's going to be telling the same story. Again, it's such a simple comedy premise, but again, it's simple with if the deep cut, they have a lot of deep cut darkness if you knew where it's coming from. But even without, there's a simple premise that just keeps getting weirder and more uncomfortable, and essentially we just again the performance is what carries this here, and it's so funny.
Mr. Pan, with violence in his heart, approached the ship captain. Oh my god, I love this this like holding Captain Hook up on a pedestal. He was an honorable military man, an employer of sailors. Dragon, the employers of sailors thing really that killed me. Just the fact that he was an employer of sailors, you know. I don't know.
What's so funny is they're mixing two things, Tiki. They're mixing basically he's lumping in all the bad stuff together to kind of redeem himself. That's kind of what he's doing in all these stories. Where essentially he's telling the story of all the sweaty characters are Stephen Avery essentially, and all the Wendy Darling. And essentially, the Wendy Darlings are Brendan Dassey, who again I'll say it here. I assume the views might be the same. It's kind of around the board. I think everyone's kind of unanimous about this. That at the end of the day, Avery, the jury's out, and I'm still of that mindset. I can't make it. There's the evidence. I can't weigh on. It's just a mishandled case. But Dassey, though, we see the evidence. We see all the interviews. They coerce, and that's what we get at the end here, especially. They basically coerce the heck out of Dassey to make a confession, and you can see folks. You can make the judgment for yourself, but I mean, you look at it. I think you'll. I'm just saying it's the guy's basically being spoon-fed a story, and it's very obvious. And again, horrible investigators. That's what I'm going to say. It's horrible investigators, regardless. And what Kratz is trying to do here is he's trying to put all the investigators, all the law enforcement, captain, servant of the king type stuff, basically all the authority figures on a pedestal to he's combating the bias and he's telling the story of making a murder. So he's combining those two, and in combining those two, he's making things 100 times worse. So they cut off the hand.
He cut off the captain's hand, and he threw the hand into the mouth of a crocodile.
He is hiding the evidence.
Mr. Pan then proceeded to rape and murder the crocodile.
And again, this is where we're just going and saying, why would you mix these stories? Now that's the thing. He's going
He then turned to Wendy and said, "Here, have a turn."
Again, that's the Dassey of it all right there. Faint. Again, that's where just things that's the only thing they're clinging on to. He gave it.
Obviously, this making a murderer cut references. It goes straight over my head, but let me just say I can appreciate the fact that I have no idea what the fuck they're referencing, but I still find it hilarious. I find the delivery hilarious.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways,
so then, of course, we get some of the kids that's not how it happened. That's not how my mommy reads the story. Oh, God.
This line.
A lot of evidence against Peter Pan. He's biased against Hook because he's an authority figure.
And that line kills me. And again, I'm loving the meta stuff here, where it's the meta stuff where again that's what Ken Kratz and everyone who was offended by the Ducks, they kept saying like they omitted evidence. That's what they keep saying. So I love he worked that in there.
Uh-huh.
So,
Okay,
yeah.
so Miss Fox says to maybe it's time for a different story. Oh yes, I'd love to tell a different story. I have another tale of injustice.
Oh, there was the
This
hand bit too. Did you see that where she's putting she put her like she tapped him on the shoulder. He tried to reach for the hand and she slid it away. He's like he's holding on it because again it's like getting Kratz is just he's a creepy guy lusting after women. That's kind of what we're doing there.
Okay,
We're
so
building it, folks. We're building it. So anyway, what's the next story on the
thanks to
docket?
the confession of Pumbaa the warthog, the violet, sweaty Simba walked through the savannah, dripping sweat, with bloodlust and violence in his heart, and then proceeded to. Oh, by the way, Drake, this is something we missed with both Captain Hook and now we get it here. Like with Captain Hook, like he murdered an innocent child. I mean, he murdered the sea captain. And then with this, we get he then proceeded to kill the little cat fetus. I'm sorry. I mean, he proceeded to kill the king.
Okay, you know what's funny, and this is like something you don't need to know the show at all for. It's just it's so bizarre because honestly, the fetus thing they didn't mention it with Captain Hook. They mentioned it here. It's very random, Tiki, because they just mentioned the fetus here, and the fact of the matter is there's no fetus at all in that case. It's just a creepy random pull that he put in here. See, that's the thing. That there's absolutely no fetus at all in that story. That's the case. It's like extra creepy. It's like, oh god, lion fetus.
But then raped and murdered 3 hyenas. The dragon. I love this. I love
This
this.
is Brianna Oppenheimer has this line.
Yes. Okay. The little kid's like, that's not the movie I saw. And Dragon, like you said, I love how he's oh yes, I know the movie you're referring to. And it was very biased against hyenas.
I
Dragon,
love.
you know what? I'm just going to take a stand with this guy right here. I think the Lion King was kind of biased against hyenas. They're not all bad.
Yeah, I love the other kid who just says, "Yeah, Simba was framed." Just that's the line that kind of cracks me up. Simba was framed.
I have one more tale.
Oh, so hilariously, Miss Fox is trying to interject like crazy because she's realizing, okay, this is really bombing. I gotta get this guy out of here. And again, she's trying to end this disastrous story time. This is a mistake. Whoever did the booking for this was not sober. So it's oh god, it's just he says he has one more tale for these. he says one more tale. Emphasis on one more. Coming from the confessions of
Baba Black Sheep. Little Bo Peep proceeded to then rape and murder each of her sheep.
And again, folks. Again, at the end of the day, analyzing the comedy here, because we also want to try to do that. There's a simple repetition. There's a simple repetition gag through all of this. It's simple. It's this character saying basically, changing details in the story. And again, this has no right to work, and I love this. This has no right to be special, yet it is. Is one we're doing kind of like that Space Jam. It's like it's a random pick. It's a really it's not a 1%er, but it's like it's a very you need to know your audience for that thing. There's an audience for this, but it's not a big audience. But they're committing to it, and we're staying true to it. And again, that performance is what's really selling this. And again, it could easily be like, okay, I've seen this sort of gag all the time. We're just repeating the same joke, and it's going to get old and tired fast. Yet it doesn't, because we're getting more and more crazy, more and more insane. So then. Okay, so also I love Sipka's reaction. Sipka's the kid who has the big line at the end. You remember Sipka, the waiter from the waiter and the narrator from Pokemon, the other guy from Jackie.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Sipka's the main standout kid, along with Poncio with the freckles. It was what that kid. So like Sipka's reaction to this and Fox just Miss Fox just jumps in with like, okay, let's give him a hand, folks, because she's just trying to cut him off there, Black Sheep. Okay. And then he says,
story hour's done, but how about history?
She says, that's enough. And then he just really, again, he's hitting the
BC, a dirty, sweaty cult leader named Jesus Christ sat on a cross, dripping with sweat, dirty, sweaty Gandhi, dirty, sweaty Martin Luther King.
Okay, you know what's funny? I just two things. One, I love the whole "is it" bit that he says. Like, yeah, that's enough. Is it? Again, it's like such a creepy like thing before it all starts. After he says "is it," that so he's firing into all of these. And here's the thing that cracks me up about.
Like this guy, like, you know, it's like, first of all, I love how he has the moral sense to be like, you know, to warn people. All right, if you're 15, then leave the room. But then it's like he changes his agenda, Dragon. He switches gears. He changes his agenda. He's like, all right, well, if these kids are going to listen to my stories, then God damn it, I'm going to tell my stories.
You know, I just got to respect the heck out of this here. Where again, I love that we're getting all of this not from like the other landmark moments and making out with the whole EDTA. We're not, you know, we're not doing that. We're not doing like the whole key thing. Again, they did kind of the framing with Coburn and another video, but in this case, we're going for like a real 1%er of all the stuff in Making a Murder. And yes, we're using Ken Kratz, but we're using the press conference, the whole like for anyone under 15 to excuse themselves and the whole sweaty thing. We're using like really again, it's like an early like one. They only say do that sweaty thing once, and we're taking that and we're really taking the meme that's come from that. It's so funny that we're taking such like a small bit from that 10 episode series, and we're making such a great satisfying meal out of it here. And so the sweaty cult leader, Jesus Christ, this is cracks me up about this. I love that he said it's in 1 BC. So I'm just saying, look, just by definition here, you before Christ. So 1 BC, as in before. I don't know. It's like he's kind of basically he's there before he's supposed to be. I don't know. It's really weird. I just love it's like it even makes even less sense. Just showing that Kratz he's a raving lunatic at this point where he's just the sweaty cult leader named Jesus Christ in 1 BC. So again, 1 before Christ. So again, how can Christ be there before Christ? Anyway, so yes, we Gandhi, Martin Luther King, and his sweaty dreams. Sweaty, dirty, sweaty Mother Teresa. And I love seeing the kids. I love that we have a nice reassuring message with the kids here. The kids are smart enough to be in disbelief and be scared out of their minds. So I love that we're seeing, okay, the kids are smart enough to believe anything this crazy mustachioed madman is saying. So then, okay, here's, folks, this is the reason it's my favorite parody right here. This moment, and then the, honestly, the little subscribe tag at the end. So, Miss Fox tries to usher Kratz out of the library. Here's the big laugh of it all, folks. And this is kind of a moment that really made me fall in love with Piper Henson and her comedic abilities right here. Where Ken Kratz and Joshua Thomas, the way he delivers this is so perfect. Oh, little kitty wants to play. The minute he says that, we get the image that we see before, folks, where just the fear and just the instinctual fear and terror and like the body language, all of it is just it's firing all cylinders. We're just the instinctual scream, oh no, the oh no, and then the push. Again, it's so real, and that's where Just Giggle. Yeah, I love that we're kind of taking what we do kind of thematically, like in the writing, where it's we kind of build to a dark moment. We have it goes in a flash, and it's so horrifyingly accurate. Just oh no, and he pushes it. It's such an over the top yet real world reaction. And then Ken, he's caught in front of a room full of children. And then he covers it. So God, remember, he's a lawyer. He's a prosecutor. So being the lawyer, he's covering himself. He's like,
it was a consensual hug.
Billy, you're my witness. And Billy, you are my witness is still. Billy, this is Sipka here. So again, Billy, you're my witness, and we have a classic staple of Just Giggle here. We have the aftermath comedy that Just Giggle loves to have, where it's we dwell on the moments after the absurdity, where oh my god, this moment just happened, and the kid is living with it. It's sort of like kind of the Ash Ketchum aftermath of it all, where it's like, what? No! And Mark Sipka is just, oh my god, so beautiful. It's a beautiful gag. So then so that's well, then we have this great button gag here where she's trying to take the room back here and trying to transition. Says, "Well, kids, sorry about that. Well, now get your pens and your paper and everything, your art supplies out for basically our artist of the evening, or for drawing hour with, and again, I love I love the realization that Henson plays here with in private investigator Michael O'Kelly. I had to throw an actor under the bus there. Sorry, Michael O'Keefe. Michael O'Kelly. So then, Antigua, this is another hilarious in-joke that honestly you get here. This is exactly what it is in the thing here. You get it. So it's very simple. As it plays here, just again, this is Dassey being coerced into drawing what they tell him happened.
Draw me a picture about how you and Peter Pan raped that crocodile.
Oh my god! And again, it's so great. And Anti's on top of it. They're hitting it with very little explanation. Again, what you see is what you get, and it's a good kind of sell for what's in Making a Murder with some of these guys. It's wonderful. Mm-hmm. So then we have a great kind of our ending here. Our ending kind of like usually we have a Just Giggle It tag at the end of most, if not all, videos where Just Giggle will tell you to subscribe, and they'll be in the character's costume, so like Alex Poncio upside down and be gagged like that. Where
gonna have a crazy day today.
Something like that. In this case, Sipka, he basically interrupts. I love this. It's so strange that Joshua Thomas and Piper Henson. I love how the image looks, by the way, of Piper Henson sitting on his lap too. It's so him dressed as Ken Kratz with her, who was just in terror so earlier on, sitting on his lap. It's just so creepy yet funny. and he's just saying, hey, it's Joshua, this is Piper, subscribe if you like what you see. And of course, folks out there, you should also subscribe if you like what you hear about what you would be seeing if you're watching the video. And then this is the bit, the other bit that kind of like linked it up for Piper Henson for me right here, where Sipka makes a sound effect, makes like a fart noise. And Sipka's good at sound. He loves sound comedy. Again, kind of the Police Academy effect of Sipka. He loves doing sound effect gags, where he makes the fart sound, interrupting Joshua Thomas. And if we know anything from Harley Quinn, the Joker versus the real world, Joshua Thomas / the Joker hate being interrupted in the ending. So then we have the line that kills it. He's laughing his head off, and you see his belly. So now it's like you just snap back in the character. It's so hilarious. So this bit will just haunt. This will haunt me from this video in the best of ways. Where Piper Henson, she gets up again in character herself, and she has this line that is so funny. Ken's mad. Oh God. just like Ken's mad. Oh God. Just implying that he's like gonna take off his belt and beat this kid or something. Like, oh my God. We're just again this Henson on his lap and getting it. It's like Ken's mad. Oh God. Oh my gosh. It captures that instinctual like fear-based moment. It's so dark and so wonderful.
Yeah. Okay, so final thoughts on Making a Murderer. I'll go first because I don't have as much to say. I will say, Dragon, this was a very successful skit for someone like me who is, I've got like an incredibly surface level knowledge of Making a Murderer. I really don't have any point of reference for the two guys being parodied here. But much like The Walking Dead for you, and I feel like this does it even more successfully than The Walking Dead parody does. Because what The Walking Dead parody does is it essentially takes the show and it kind of makes like makes a joke out of it that isn't really relevant to the show, but it's still funny. What this does is it takes the in-jokes and it takes the subtle comedy and it takes all the things that you're going to pick up on if you're a fan of the show. And it contextualizes it in a way where people who haven't watched the show can still find it hilarious. I think that's just a great balancing act that they walk down. It's pretty dark. It's got some really memorable bits by Justin in it, or by damn it, I did it again.
Oh my God, it's like a tradition with you. What is?
I know. Dragon, I swear to God, if you go back into one of their videos, they have him credited as Justin Thomas. I'm not making that up.
That is impossible.
I'm not making that up. I swear to God.
Look, I know Just Giggle, it's been a little in the earlier videos. They didn't I really wish they would go back and they'd credit the names of the characters so we can get it right. Don't get it wrong. It's not the way of trouble listening to the video.
I'm telling you, Dragon, it's a Freudian slip based on the fact that a long time ago I saw Justin Thomas in a video description.
I think it's for another more current reason, but
don't even start with me.
I won't say it. I'm just implying for you.
All right. It's
Anyway,
I do not want Joshua Thomas associated with that man dragon.
nor do I, sir. Nor do I.
Although that
Joshua
would be
Thomas.
a hilarious parody in the future, though.
How would that be hilarious?
Well, they make dark humor funny.
I'm just saying these guys. Yeah, these guys are comedy geniuses. They can make.
You know what I mean?
Make,
Like I could see if anyone could do it, I could see them doing it.
again, they did make Hitler aspiring, so I don't put anything past.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Okay,
anyway,
final one.
Oh, for me?
Yeah.
Yeah, just making sure because kind of derailed you with the whole Thomas thing. Okay. For me, at the end of the day, folks, it's an excellent parody with a ridiculous setting. It's got some deep cut references. Yet again, the surface comedy is very funny. It kind of made a meme more clever to me. It kind of made this whole sweaty meme made a lot more clever and kind of seeing where it's being pulled from. It's very performance reliant. I don't mean that in a negative way. I'm just saying, again, had you got a different performance there, I'm not sure it would work. And again, thankfully, Just Giggle It. Again, like the great companies that Tiki and I love, like your Pixar's, like your Marvels. We have the right people doing the right people in the right roles doing the right thing, and that's what we have with Just Giggle time and time again. I think, again, this is my favorite parody because again, all the elements they connect and they're working, they're firing all cylinders. And this is the video. I've always said this. Kind of one of the honestly half the reason. Maybe not half, like 25% of the reason we're doing the grab bag is because of this. Because this is like my go-to sketch for Just Giggle, my go-to parody for Just Giggle when I need a laugh. Honestly, when I'm thinking of Just Giggle, aside from Harley Quinn the Joker, that one's more of an investment, which I recommend everyone invest in. By the way, like, hey, go back and watch the episodes, especially episode 5. But aside from that, like if I had to pick like one Just Giggle It video to watch, if I can only pick one, which thankfully I don't have to because these guys they love to give with the funny, I'm going with this video because again I thought just they hit it so right. It's so endlessly entertaining. So I can't say enough nice things about this here all day if I do so. So let's just say again. I really love this one. I love this one more than the first one. The first one, upon a rewatch, it's awfully funny, but this one will always kind of be my favorite of the parodies. And of the Making a Murder parodies, most definitely. Again, hopefully, maybe they'll make more. If maybe they'll make more Making a Murder sketches down the line. Who knows? But yeah, great time with it. Yeah, it's excellent. Yeah.
All right, thanks so much for watching, folks. We will be back every Tuesday for these Just Giggle It grab bags, and I want to stress, folks. Like, we haven't gotten any comment suggestions for skits you'd like us to cover. Go back into the archives of Just Giggle It. Pull some stuff out. And I want to stretch. If you suggest it, we will do it. Like, it's not
absolutely.
It's not even like we're going to do it if you suggest it. So please, by all means.
Oh, you got all the power in the world here.
Get your name on air. We'll give you the whole royal treatment.
Absolutely. So, it's something to consider, folks. And also another thing to consider, again, watch Harley Quinn the Joker versus the Real World, episode 5. Get those views up, darn. We get those views up, we get more episodes. And Tiki, hit with the premise for the next episode.
I'm sorry, what?
For Harley Quinn the Joker versus the Real World, what's the potential episode we have in the future if we can get those views up?
Okay, well, I just want to be clear. They didn't say that it was going to be exactly this next episode, but they said they have an episode in the future where Joker and Harley Quinn babysit Addison's kid sister.
I'm just saying, folks, if that's not, again, and that's, you're absolutely right, David, and thank you for correcting me there. Again, folks, we don't know if it's going to be the next one, but that's the thing. They're keeping us wondering. I mean, I want to live in a world where we could have an episode like that for Harley Quinn the Joker versus the Real World. I want an episode where you have something that funny happen. So, we're going to get there. The only way we're going to get there is if you guys watch that episode, which is hilarious. Again, episode 5, probably my favorite of the ones so far. I highly recommend it. Check it out, folks. You recommend it to your friends, your family, even your pets.
All right, folks. Thanks so much for watching, and keep up with us.
Ken's mad. Oh, God.
I know the movie you speak of, and it's biased against hyenas.